Hello everyone, this is Paradise speaking, and this is just a quick video to show you how to use particle animations and how to implement them into your own mods. So there are a couple of things first before I begin. There are a few things you can do with this mod. You can pretty much do anything you can do with any normal particle, such as, I don't know, the way you'd spawn a normal particle is this here, smoke or whatever. It's pretty much the same for this here, only the particles are animated. So you can put them in the on item right click of any item. For example, say you had some kind of power up food that when the player right clicks gives them some temporary ability, then you could have the particles spawn when the player right clicks it, for example. Or you could have it follow an entity around. In this case I made it follow the player around. And also I used on ticking game. Now the thing about this is you'd need to use, say you made, I don't know, a cow clone, then you need a function that updates on every tick, and there is one, luckily, in the entity class called onUpdate. So onUpdate curly brackets, curly brackets, super onUpdate. This is to make sure it actually does everything it's meant to do as well. And then here you'd have all the things I'm about to show you to make particles appear and so on. And this would override the one in the entity class, and obviously. But yeah. Now onto the particles. I'll demonstrate a few things first using this onTicking game method, which updates on every tick, obviously. And the way you make it follow the player around is by using this method here called set location and angles. Now there are a couple of other ones you can use as well. You can use, feel free to decompile this and just look at all the methods. There is also, you can do set center, set orientation, set position, anything you like, Set RBG, for example, is could change the color of the particle, red value, green value, blue value. In this example I chose this here, which happens to be orange. I just thought it looked cool. And yeah, so every time this method updates, so there's a position of the particle animation. Anyway, on to the particle animation itself. This is the only important part. Ignore everything else. Basically, I have this particle animation. This one here is called orbit, which looks a bit like electron orbitals. And the way you instantiate it is with these two arguments, one being the world object and the other being an entity. In this case, you don't need to make it an entity. You can also instead make it just a certain position if you don't want it to be linked to any entity. Or for the particles that do use pitch and yaw, for example orbit, you can also set the pitch and yaw separately. Anyway, so let's get on with it. So yeah, particle animation orbit. What do I do here? All of these are optional. If you don't do them, it'll just take the default value. But if you do want to customize how the particle behaves, then you do the set speed, self-explanatory, sets the speed of the particle. Radius, for particles that have a radius, then you could use this. For those that don't, it doesn't change. Gravity, in this case we don't really need this. If you don't do this, then you'll just get gravity equals 0. The color, default being red. Brightness, and now this is interesting actually, because if you don't do this, then the brightness will vary depending on the time of day or the lighting. And at nighttime it will be very dark, bright at day. And I just chose 1.5 here because 1.5 is a pretty nice glow in the darky value. 0 is just black pretty much, and 5 is already way too bright. Particle number for this animation orbit, you can have 1, 2, 4, or 8, I think. Yep. For others, you can only have, I don't know, 1 or something. For world, for example, you can only have 1. So anything you do here will just round down to the nearest possible value. But in this case we can have 2. And spawn is what you do in the end to make sure that the particle actually becomes visible. And, well, yeah, so let's check it out. And notice we chose 2 particles here. So let's take a look. Okay, it's kind of bright, I think, but yeah, it doesn't actually emit light, just by the way. And this will change depending on where the player is looking. So this is just 2 particles. I don't think it looks very nice. So normally I'd say something like 4. You can also change the speed of the orbits. This is 100% percentage, radius, blah blah blah. Self-explanatory. And this is 4, for example. And you can just look around, look in the decompile, look in the classes. There are a couple of other things you can do. You can set motion X, set motion Z. That's a bit like gravity, only on the XZ plane, and so on. Then we have particle. What's the next one? Okay, let's do trail then. Trail is the simplest of them all. It's basically just like the normal spawn particle, only you can change gravity, you can change that kind of thing. None of this will make any difference because trail just doesn't use radius, doesn't use speed. It does use RGB, does use brightness. Well, no matter what you choose a particle number to be, it will just be 1. And let's set the gravity to 0.5 just to make it interesting. So let's see. And we have okay, it's in a weird position. Yeah, so it acts as a trail, only this is in a strange position. If you wanted it to be slightly lower, for example, then you could just change this here. I don't know. I think 0.5 ought to do the trick. So let's make it 0.7. Then relative to the player's position, it will be offset by 0.7d. Why didn't it start? Oh, I'm having a lot of lag here. Right. Let's check that out. And it's just lower. You can offset it by any value you like. This looks a bit wrong, but whatever. You get the point. Anyway, that's trail. What else do we have? We have. Let's do the ones that are meant to be following an entity around. You don't need to make them, but it's kind of what they're meant to do. So let's do circle, for example. Speed, you do use speed, but this is the default value anyway, 100%. Radius, default value is 1 anyway. And let's make it 2 particles. Yeah, and let's make the gravity 0.5 as well. That'll be interesting. So 2 particles with those settings looks like this. Oh, we forgot the offset thing, did we? Let's get rid of that. Okay, this just makes this circle thing around the player. Could be used for anything really, I guess. If I would have done 4 particles, it would have been 4, that kind of thing. Then there is okay, we've done circle. There's whirl, which looks a bit like a tornado. Did I spell it right? Oh. Speed, yeah, that's useful. Radius here works a bit differently. It's not actually, it's the rate at which the tornado funnels down, so to speak. Gravity is useless in this situation. Oh well, it isn't useless because the default value is -1 actually. Orange. Yeah, the brightness is fine. And this doesn't make a difference because it will always be one particle. So let's look. Yeah. Well, it's a bit fast, so it looks a bit strange, but you can change the settings, I guess. I don't know what you'd use this for though. And you can also offset it to make it, I don't know, by the player's feet or something, because this looks weird. Anyway. Swirl. We have the fireworks ones. So let's look at those. Firework. Can't spell. Work. 1. Spell it right. Yeah, firework 1. And firework 1. Let's go. Oh wait, let's look at the settings first. Speed is fine, rate is fine, gravity doesn't make a difference, or does it? Well yeah, it does actually, but whatever. RBG, and this does make a difference. Only, you can either do 4 or 8. The default value is 4, anything less than 4 will give you 4. Anything higher than 8 will give you 8. You know, let's do 8, whatever. Oh, oops. Yeah. Now the nature of this animation is that it works best with an item or at a certain event, for example a collision or whatever. So to demonstrate, I'll just comment all of this out and make it instead happen on item right click. So let's make firework 1 appear on item right click. Speed being okay, yeah, it's fine, whatever. So every time this here appears, tester item used, I right click the item. So when I right click the item, this is fireworks 1. And the particles do die, the entity does die after a while, so it won't just keep sinking forever into the floor. It will die eventually. Same is for fireworks 2, only it looks a bit different. And you know, you can just change the color or whatever. Anything you like, really. The size of it, the speed of it. This is fireworks 2, which it looks a bit more realistic. And yeah, and it has 8 particles, as you might have noticed. I can change that to 4. It will be just the 4 top ones. I think we've done everything. Circle, fireworks, swirl, firework 1, orbit, and trail. Yeah. And that's all there is to it. I'm sure I'll make more animations at some point, but this is just a proof of concept to show that, you know, how this works and so on. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.